channel, sports fans. Because once again, all eyes are on the apple as the Yanks and Mets go slugging in Game 4 at Shea. Plus, shades of the old Darryl. The former big leaguer in trouble again as he gets stirred with another drug charge. And we've got the big NBA news as the commissioner comes down hard on the T-Wolves, and Joe Smith is the reason. All that and a whole lot more coming up next on the National Sports Report. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another very busy night on the side of Fox Network Center. Steve Sachs is over there. He's Kevin Garcia. I'm Dan Allwright, and you're watching the National Sports Report.
Yes, you are. Nebraska head coach Frank Solich will speak his piece on our open mic, and we'll take a look at a World Series merchandising phenomenon that puts Where's Waldo to shame, which is something.
We're getting elementary and intellectual at the same time. This week, there's only one place to begin, and just when you thought the Yankees were going to take all the fun out of the first Gotham battle in 44 years, those Metropolitans rallied Tuesday night to stop two of the most impressive winning streaks in the Fall Classic history. The Yanks' 14-game run and El Duque's unbeaten record in postseason decisions. For Wednesday's Game 4, the Mets were hoping for a repeat of some of their franchise's most cherished history. For it was 14 years ago when Mookie put that dribbler through Buckner's legs that led to a Game 6 victory for the Mets over the Red Sox and ultimately to the franchise's last World Championship. But right off the bat, Nobby watching Derek Jeter take the first pitch from Bobby Jones and connected and sending it over the wall and up. Field. First leadoff home run in a World Series game since Rickey Henderson in '89. And the Yanks were off and running. Then in the second, Paul O'Neill. His first triple since July of '99. Into the right field corner. The Yanks quickly taking a 2-0 lead. In the third, more Jeter sacks.
That's right. Now, you thought Derek Jeter only went big to left field. Check this out. He keeps his hands inside the baseball, gets good backspin on it. Look at that little skinny guy nailing the ball to deep right center field, comes up with the trip.
8th hit of the series, and it extended his 13-game World Series game hitting streak to the pleasure of A-Rod. Bottom of the third, the Pizza Man against Denny Nagel. And the Pizza Man would connect with one of his own when he reached out and golfed one.
That's right. That was a changeup that Nagel left on the outside part of the plate. He comes up and shows that he's
his second of the series. In the 5th, Edgardo Alfonso flat out to get David Justice and come through with a key out to keep it a 3-2 Yankee game. Bottom of the 5th, 2 outs, and Piazza coming on to relieve Denny Nagel, much to his dismay.
I'll tell you, he's a little bit shocked about this, but Joe Torre, man, this guy's good. Everything he touches turns to gold. David Cone with a dismal year, 4-14 in a terrible last month. Look at this. Comes up and gets that precious out for Joe Torre.
Last out of the 5th inning, Coney's first appearance at Shea since '92 when he was a Met. Mariano Rivera, he did not pitch. In Game 3, Game 4, he did, and he came through. Paul O'Neill helping him with that nice sliding catch. And in the bottom of the 9th, still a 1-run ball game. Rivera finally got his first save of this World Series, but the 17th of his World Series career. When he comes on and the Yankees are in the lead, forget it. Forget about it. The Yankees are up 3-1. In 96 years, only 5 teams have rallied from a 3-1 deficit in a 7-game Fall Classic. The last to do it, the '85 Royals. Joe Torre back in a familiar position, just 1 win away from celebration.
It's someplace I've been before, but it's certainly not familiar and, you know, and surefire stuff. But it's this ball club, I think, bouncing back after losing last night's game. And God, it was a tough ball game tonight.
We know we could hit a little better than we've hit, and a lot of times those things come in bunches, and we're going to need to bunch some of our hits starting tomorrow.
You know, I don't know if I was so much surprised, but you know, I really don't know. I'm just trying to make a good pitch, and regardless if he swings or not, the pitch wasn't where I wanted it to be.
This is the World Series. Joe manages to win, and you know, every out, as I said before, is a commodity. And it was only one. It took me, I don't know who got the win, if I got the win in this game or not, but it took me 4 months. You know, I didn't smell a win for 4 months.
You know, we haven't rolled over all year, and we've been in tough situations before. And we're going to come out and we're going to battle, like we did tonight. We battled. I mean, we came up short, and that's the bottom line.
Coney, by the way, Jeff Nelson got the win, but Derek Jeter was once again the hero because he is a picture of consistency. He has scored 18 runs in 18 career World Series games. He is truly a picture of production. For more coverage of Game 4 and the Yankees' 3-2 victories, we send it back to New York with Keith Olbermann and Steve Lyons.
And from Shea Stadium, where the New York Yankees are a win away from their 25th World Championship, alongside Kevin Kennedy and Steve Lyons, I'm Keith Olbermann. Derek Jeter leading the game off on the first pitch with a home run to the amusement of his friend and possible fellow future New Yorker Alex Rodriguez, and then again leading off in the third inning with a triple, and he would score the Yankees' second run in another one-run game, a 3-2 triumph. That's Kevin, this is Steve, and I'm Keith, and let's start it off with perhaps the back end of the deal. The New York Mets did not put a runner in scoring position after Mike Piazza's two-run homer in the third inning that gave them both their runs. And Steve, you can't overestimate the job that the Yankee bullpen did from the moment Denny Nagel came out of the game to the moment Mariano Rivera struck the last man out.
Yeah, and you can't believe the job that they're doing as well. I mean, they came into the series with clearly being the weak link of this Yankee ball club. Stanton did not have a good year, didn't look good in the postseason. Same thing with Jeff Nelson. They've been outstanding in the postseason, getting everybody out, doing their job, and as you mentioned, not a guy in scoring position after Piazza goes deep. Even Coney comes in, gets an out, and then Rivera, you know, I don't think he's the same Mariano Rivera that we've seen in the past, but he's still getting it done, and 90% of Mariano Rivera is better than almost anybody else out there.
Well, and
getting it done.
Steve, Joe Torre has the confidence to bring him in the 8th inning for a 2-inning save, and Mariano Rivera, you're right, the velocity isn't like it used to be at 96, 97, but he's got that cut fastball, 93, 94 miles an hour, and he was phenomenal again tonight. Cutter after cutter after cutter. There's paint on the outside corner to Agbayani twice. Again, down low, and then inside on the inside corner. Just changed location there, went a couple of times away, got Benny looking down and away. We saw what Benny did last night down and away, drove it in the gap. Mariano Rivera and Posada recognized that, remembered it, went inside to finish him off for strike 3. Rivera just completely dominant again for the New York Yankees. With 2 days off, Joe could use him for 2 innings, and it worked out.
Steve, do you believe in conspiracy theories? We were sitting here about, 5 hours ago talking about how the Yankees were bringing over their own furniture to fill out the clubhouse because it was inadequate, according to George Steinbrenner. And then all of a sudden a water main breaks. Now they can't use that clubhouse. I wonder what happened to all that nice furniture.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing, and I wouldn't put it past either one of these teams to try stuff like that. They said a water main break. You know, why didn't it break in the middle of the stadium? Why didn't it break in the Mets clubhouse? But it just happened to break over there in the Yankee clubhouse. There might be a little showmanship going on, a little gamesmanship, a little, you know, you do this to me, I'll do that to you.
It sounds like a winter ball story, Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
It broke back and to the left. And right after the game ended, Derek Jeter, who hit the game leading off home run, the first one in World Series play since Ricky Henderson with the A's in '89, joined me on the field for an interview on the broadcast network.
Well, no, I don't mind it. You know, I've hit leadoff for a few games this year when Chuck was injured, and I've done it in the past, my first couple of years. So, you know, in my opinion, you only lead off the first inning. So I just keep the same approach, and I'm aggressive.
Is there some sense in a game like this, since you guys hadn't lost a World Series game since the second game in Atlanta in 1996, after they won last night, did you have a need for this game? Was there a stronger sense than there has been perhaps in recent years or earlier in this series?
Not really. You know, we take the same approach every series, you know, whether it's the World Series or the first 2 rounds. And, you know, we've been fortunate the last few years, but this Met team, they're the best team we've played in the World Series so far. And they're tough. We've had a lot of close games, and fortunately, this was a huge win for us.
Do you, as they say, smell it at this point, up 3-1?
No. I mean, we got to come out here ready to play because these guys don't want to lose. You know, they have a resilient team. They've been coming back the last couple of years on some tough teams, so we got to come out here ready tomorrow.
Derek, thanks. Let's bring in Paul O'Neill after another great game, and you're another win away from another World Series title.
These are gut-wrenching games, man. I'm telling you, physically and mentally just exhausted when you walk off this field. It's
one-run baseball, and you know, one play can change it. And they've been great games.
How about this triple binge that you were on all of a sudden? I thought there hadn't been any since, what, the 93?
That's a long run for me. I tell you, this is a big ballpark, and when things happen down the lines, you're going to have some triples. But, you know, both pitching staffs kept their team in the game. Everybody knew coming into the series, you know, runs were going to be tough, and so far so good. But, you know, we can't assume anything. Tomorrow's another day, and, you know, Leiter's their best.
Paul O'Neill, after another triple in this World Series, the Yankees now lead it 3-1 over the Mets with Game 5, the last one that will be played at Shea Stadium tomorrow night. Nagel, Cone in the 5th, Nelson in 6th, Stanton in the 7th, Rivera in the 8th. The Yankees win 3-2. Mets don't put the tying run on after the 3rd. We'll be back from Shea Stadium.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys again in 19 minutes. Now for a new wrinkle on our Your Call question, a little trivia. Who are the 4 men who have managed both the Yankees and the Mets? We will reveal the answers later and then ask you a question that involves those 4 men. So begin your quizzing yourself now and stay tuned for the answer and another question a little bit later on.
In what has become an all-too-common theme, former Yankee and Met Darryl Strawberry has succumbed to his inner demons once again. Strawberry is jailed on Wednesday after admitting that he left a treatment center for a weekend drug binge. Strawberry admits to smoking crack cocaine and taking 10 tranquilizer pills. Strawberry is less than 2 months into a 2-year house arrest sentence. He's scheduled to appear before a judge on Thursday.
I'm saddened by it. I know everybody, well, not everybody, but people who know Darryl, you know, feel for him. He's going through a tough time.
We're always disappointed when an addict relapses. We hope that doesn't happen. It's not surprising that an addict relapses, and Darryl Strawberry is an addict.
Earlier on the National Sports Report, we asked radio and television personality Dr. Drew Pinsky, who treats professional athletes, his thoughts on Strawberry's possible addiction.
I don't know Darryl Strawberry, but I would bet, just given the intractable nature of his disease, that he has not had a 3-month period where he's been away from drugs probably since he was a teenager. And that impairs judgment, impairs impulse control, and impairs our ability to treat people like that. And he needs an extended period of 6 months or so where he is completely drug-free so his brain can recover from this.
On to the NBA and talk about sending a message. NBA Commissioner David Stern did a whole lot of that on Wednesday when he slammed the Timberwolves for trying to get away with a secret contract agreement with Joe Smith. All Stern did was strip the T-Wolves of their next 5 first-round draft choices, voided Smith's contract, making him a free agent, and oh yeah, Stern also fined the franchise $3.5 million. The penalty is one of the harshest ever handed out by the league, and this doesn't even include possible suspensions still to possibly come for T-Wolf owner Glenn Taylor and GM Kevin McHale. Smith also loses his Larry Bird rights, which means he won't be able to sign a lucrative contract with the T-Wolves should he decide to stay in Minnesota. Our NBA analyst Jack Haley and Stephen A. Smith of the Philadelphia Inquirer discussed the impact of this huge penalty and also if David Stern's ruling would have been as harsh if the guilty franchise was either a New York or L.A. team.
If it was a marquee name or somebody like that, I think you would have seen David Stern be just a tad bit more lenient. He still would have been harsh, but he would have been a tad bit more lenient. But to go out and do all of this for Joe Smith, somebody that is not considered at that top echelon of players in the league, combine that with all the other stuff that I just mentioned, I think that David Stern said the nerve, the gall of you to even think to do such a thing, and that's why the hammer was brought down in the manner that it happened.
The reality is, Kevin McHale said earlier today he may step down from this because of the things that may come his direction. But the real thing that could happen here, if Joe Smith leaves this organization and all of this ruling stands and they lose the next 5 picks for the next 5 years, this is going to be a team that's going to have to be in a rebuilding situation. I think what they'll have to do is, if you look at the big picture, look for them to try to trade Kevin Garnett. He's got a huge contract. This team cannot win. He's going to be unhappy playing for an also-ran team. They may try to make a team with who I just said, the Chicago Bulls, because they have young players, they have draft picks, they can get them back into the loop, maybe move him to another team. This team, again, this franchise will be in total disarray.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard when you're talking about trading Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett's not going anywhere. He loves Minnesota. He loves Kevin McHale. He loves the Timberwolves organization. Clearly, this is a screw-up on the part of the owner who committed the most stupidest act I've ever seen. But at the same time, the bottom line is that this is a team team that made it to the playoffs last year. They still have Terrell Brandon. They still have Kevin Garnett. Basketball is a team game, whereas you find 2 or 3 parts, and then you find components to those parts to make you somewhat successful and competitive. And there is no way in God's green earth that the Minnesota Timberwolves and the city of Minnesota is going to allow anybody to get rid of Kevin Garnett. I don't care what you say.
Some heated discussion.
I tell you what, a couple of years or maybe 3 years from now, after Kevin Garnett loses a lot of games and sees no light at the end of the tunnel, he's not going to love Minnesota quite so much.
You're probably right. You got to feel for the guy because he has made the commitment to Minnesota, and now they're going to be terrible. They're going to be absolutely terrible. He's going to have no supporting cast. What's the man to do?
Their future has definitely been taken away from him, Minnesota. A very surprisingly harsh penalty from Stern.
Yep. All right, here's what's on tap coming up in 18 minutes. Offensive linemen don't often run for the homecoming queen. Then again, you're going to have guts because if you don't vote for her, you're in trouble.
But coming up before that, in just 3 minutes, Money always talks to New York as vendors strike it rich.
NFL This Morning, the tailgate party you don't need to change out of your pajamas to go to. Sundays at 7 on Fox Sports Net.
Check it out.
The next generation Chrysler Town and Country.
You do that? I saw you did. Let's get out of here.
With power sliding doors and liftgate with an obstacle detection system, Chrysler Town and Country is the best minivan ever.
Buy or lease now at your California Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
Just a bit of magic. Oh, you gotta see it. Slightly unexpected. Perfectly perfected. Ahead of your head, I said. Our stuff is what dreams are made of. Time to bring it on home.
Digital palm quarter with 3-way PC link from Panasonic. Just slightly ahead of our time.
Oh, just a bit of magic.
Introducing the all-new, completely restyled 2001 Hyundai Elantra.
The warranty's the best in America. You feel secure and you know you have someone to rely on.
It comes with the freedom of the Hyundai Advantage, America's best warranty plan, and a long list of standard features. The 2001 Elantra, it'll make you look very good. Get the all-new Elantra at your Hyundai dealer today.
That's my chalupa.
That's my chalupa. That's my chalupa.
That's my chalupa. That's my chalupa.
My chalupa! Everybody's got their chalupa. Some hunger for the Baja with zesty pepper jack sauce and fiesta salsa. Others crave the bold Southwest flavor of the Santa Fe. What's your chalupa?
Dude, you got a really good voice.
All 4 flavors, now 99 cents each.
Great evening to you. I'm Todd Donahoe from your Southern California Regional Sports Report. We've got a sneak preview of what's ahead tonight at 11 p.m. coming up for you in just a few minutes. Now, tonight, as always, we've got the Lakers covered for you. Full report coming up at 11 as they get ready to wrap up the preseason. Plus, we'll have a special report on John Robinson as he rebuilds the UNLV football program. That's all ahead for you on your 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report. Right now, we send you back to the National Sports.
Join you from Shea Stadium where the water mains broke, but the New York Yankees certainly did not. The New York Mets may have. The Yankees 3, the Mets 2, and they now lead this World Series 3-1. We assumed coming in that because with the pitchers were going to be Denny Nagel and Bobby Jones, we might see a slugfest. 3-2, no runs scored after the bottom of the 3rd inning. Another gut-wrenching victory for the Yankees, in the words of Paul O'Neill. The game was broadcast on Fox by Joe Buck and Tim McCarver, and afterwards they recorded their thoughts on what we all saw.
All right, well, the final of 3-2, and Tim McCarver, who would have thought that with this pitching matchup coming in, Denny Nagel, who had lost 2 games in the ALCS, and Bobby Jones, who struggled through that Game 4 start during the National League Championship Series, that we'd be looking at another 1-run game. They pitched pretty well here tonight.
We saw Denny Nagel start the game. We may have seen David Cohn's last performance as a major league pitcher, maybe, but then that trio took over. Jeff Nelson, Mike Stanton, and Mariano Rivera enough just can't be said about those three guys.
And we came on the air tonight talking about Paul O'Neill, the right fielder for the Yankees. He's doing it again. He has a couple more hits tonight and a sliding catch in the 8th inning. I mean, what else can he do? And he's doing it all with a bad hip.
Derek Jeter and Paul O'Neill was really the offensive story of the Yankees tonight. It's hard to believe that the Yankees have a 3-1 lead and Bernie Williams doesn't have a hit yet.
Meanwhile, tomorrow night, a matchup of Al Leiter against Andy Pettitte, and a matchup that the Mets have to like. I mean, they have to like getting Al Leiter back on the mound again, trying to get this series back to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, and if they do get it back to Yankee Stadium, they'll have 15-game winner Mike Hampton going for them on Saturday.
So that's it from the booth tonight, a 3-2 Yankee win. Tune us in tomorrow night, Game 5 here at Shea Stadium.
Joe, Tim, thanks a lot. All right, let's look at this. The Mets basically have their hopes pinned once again on Al Leiter. And to be fair, if there's anybody you want in this situation, it's the guy who started the 7th game of the World Series and that playoff game last year against the Reds, and critical game after critical game for the Mets in his tenure here and with other teams.
Yeah, right now the two teams are in the best possible situation that they could be in, given the situation that they're in. Al Leiter's going to the mound for the Mets. That's the guy that they want out there. But for the Yankees, they got Pettitte going to the mound as well. He's the guy that started Game 1 for them, and they have a 3-1 advantage here, which means that the Yankees can be so much more aggressive on every play that they make out there. They don't have to worry about making mistakes, because if it comes back to haunt them, they're still just up 3-2 in the series. The Mets have to play maybe a little bit more conservatively. Mistakes can kill them and put their season away. And I'm finally happy that we finally found a guy in baseball that actually knows what a must-win situation is. Jay Payton finally realized, if you lose tomorrow, you go home. That's right. That's what must-win is.
Yes, that message has gotten across. I think the Mets understand it, and so do their fans. What are we going to see tomorrow, Kevin?
I think Leiter's going to come up big tomorrow. I expect this guy to come out lights on fire, have that good cutter going against the New York Yankees, a hard fastball. And remember, Rick Reed pitched last night, which means tomorrow is his throw day. So if anything happens to Al Leiter, everybody will be available, with the exception of Mike Hampton. I'm sure Mike Hampton would be ready for Saturday's game, should there be one. So they're going to just have to throw everybody out there, lay it on the table, and see what happens.
And we will be here, and we will lay it on the table, too. And only a figurative sense.
In a must-win situation.
In a must-win situation for us.
Or
otherwise,
else we go home.
We go home. I've lost control of this somehow. Thank you, Steve. For Steve Lyons, I'm Kevin Kennedy. I'm Keith Olbermann. I have lost control of the situation. The Yankees have not. They lead 3-1. More coverage later on in the National Sports Report.
Thank you so much. The Mets face a tough road. It's been 15 years since the team rallied from a 3-1 deficit in a fall classic when the Royals rallied to beat the Cardinals. Making matters worse, the Mets will have to win the final 2 games at Yankee Stadium, provided they can even get that far.
Game 5 of the Mets and Yankees is Thursday night, and you can see it on Fox. The lefties Al Leiter and Andy Pettitte will face each other at 8:25 Eastern. Keith Olbermann, Steve Lyons handle the pregame show starting at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Well, 2 guys tried to bring home a souvenir from Game 3 of the World Series, but it also cost them a night in jail. Jason Wolf and Sean M. Braden were arrested Tuesday night after plucking a handful of the turf at Shea. The men were charged with criminal mischief and were released on bond.
Certainly not the first time that guys have gone to the slammer for possessing grass.
There's really not a whole lot I can add to that, but according to the time on the clock and in our producer Ted, it seems that I need to add something to that. But I'll continue to say there's really not a whole lot I can add to that, because that was a fine line.
So let's hit the script. Up next, in the Pacific time zone, a sneak preview of your 11 p.m. regional sports report.
And for the rest of you, if you didn't have a ticket for the World Series, you'll feel like you did on our final cut. Still to come, the NBA Central Division without MJ. It has no Bird, but thank God it still is flying high on the wings of Vince Carter.
The National Sports Report is brought to you by Intel. Get the power of 3, the Intel Pentium 3 processor.
Get the power of 3, the Intel Pentium 3 processor.
You want a piece of me, Grandpa?
Just drive it right down the center. Right down the center with 1-800-CALL-ATT. Great for collect calls. But not so great for trash-talking rookies. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Say it! 1-800-CALL-ATT.
Good boy.
Business is an art. Whether you're in a service business
or maybe a family business, even a fun in the sun business. You've got to look a breed apart. Now there's a printer that's smart and fast. Xerox inkjet printers. At $149, they're just a smarter breed of inkjet printer. Because sooner or later, everyone's got to take care of business. Now available everywhere.
Craving more taste, more variety? All you need is 99 cents. Introducing the new 99-cent BK Cravers menu, including our Bullseye Barbecue Deluxe, Chicken Tender Sandwich, and tasty mozzarella sticks. Just 99 cents every day.
Maximus Buttimus for PlayStation 2. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Rated E for everyone.
The sleek 200 horsepower Chevy Monte Carlo SS. Green? The side you show the world is up to you.
No matter what your business, you can use labor-ready temporary labor. Get some help. Call 1-800-24-LABOR.
Welcome back to the National Sports Report. A little later, Nebraska coach Frank Solich joins us in our open mic segment. His top-ranked Cornhuskers face number 3 Oklahoma on Saturday. But first, here's what's coming up at 11 on your Regional Sports Report.
All right, thank you, Kevin, and hi again, everybody. Barry LeBrock with you at the Fox Regional Studios, and here's a sneak peek at some of the stories we'll be covering tonight at 11 on your Southern California Regional Sports Report. The Lakers have the night off, but they have just one preseason game remaining before doing it for real on Halloween night. The roster down to 16 now. Emmanuel Davis waived today. The opener a week from yesterday at Portland.
I'd like to get some things accomplished by Friday, so that we have clear sailing this weekend and know what our roster's going to be like so that we go into this Portland game. The guys not questioning about the roster, but ready to think about Portland.
I can't control what Phil thinks or the other coaches, but just got to play the same way I've been coming into every game, and hopefully my performance will be good enough to make the team.
In the college game, they're back on the floor at Cal State Northridge. The Matadors made quite a run last year, coming up just short of a trip to the NCAA tournament. Now they look to carry momentum from last season into this season.
It's definitely something different for Cal State Northridge. We're excited about it. It's a situation where our guys know there's going to be a lot of pressure on them just to come out and play good, solid basketball.
We've been ranked second and ranked fourth or whatever, and we don't see it as pressure. We just see it as we have to focus and work hard and do the little things that we have to do to get to where we have to be.
All right, now to football, where the road has not been kind to UCLA this season at all. Twice they've played away from home, and twice they've come back with losses. Lately, the defense has been the problem, allowing a minimum of 31 points in each of the last 3 games and allowing a minimum of 20 points in every game so far this year. Better shape up for a Saturday trip to Arizona.
We're still high, we haven't lost any hope or anything. We know we still got to stay positive and everything. We're not going to go in the tank. And whole thing basically is you just got to come out each game and play hard.
Our backs against the wall, but they're not, because now, people aren't expecting a whole lot out of us. So we just got to go out there and play loose and go out there and fly around. And the word of the week is go out there and hit people.
All right, coming up tonight at 11 on your Southern California Regional Sports Report, a complete report on the Lakers as they get ready for their last preseason game of the year. We will take a look at that. Plus, we will go to the radio man, Arnie Spanier. You've heard some of his opinions in the past. Tonight, he'll be taking on Shaq in his special segment known as What's Up With That? Plus, we will check in with former Trojan coach John Robinson, who is now in Las Vegas. We'll see how his rebuilding job is going at UNLV. You will get the entire story on what's happening in Southern California on your Regional Sports Report. I'm Barry LeBrock. Todd Donahoe joins me at 11. I'll see you then. Back now to the National Sports Report after a break.
Coming up tonight on Fox Sports Net, it's 30 minutes dedicated to the Southern California sports scene. The 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report, tonight on Fox Sports Net, followed by The Last Word with Jim Rome.
Reach the destinations most important to you. With over 50% more legroom, with more personal space in our new world business class.
Introducing the Acura MDX, taking the SUV to a place it's never been before.
The mobile internet. It's a revolution, right?
Yes, it is.
We're gonna fight the power, right?
Well,
We're gonna get on our hogs and ride into the desert?
Yeah.
Live free!
Yeah,
Eat canned food.
It's not really that kind of revolution, Michael. It's more about how we access information, communicate, shop anywhere, anytime.
Oh. Well, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That's right.
Pick up my office email?
Yes.
That's it.
Fresh baked bread, a sandwich's best friend.
He's out there with Subway's 3 new gourmet breads, like Parmesan oregano and hearty Italian with cornmeal. Fresh baked breads with savory seasonings that are giving Subway sandwiches a delicious new taste. Subway, eat fresh.
Here at VMI, we were asked to try the Norelco Advantage for 21 days. There was quiet dissension.
I'm not giving up my blade.
And anxious inquiry.
The heck is this? Goo?
But then we started to realize the lotion actually gave us a closer, smoother shave than we expected, without the nicks and cuts of blades. Our fear diminished, our hopes arose, and life got a little less hairy.
Come on, babyface, move it.
The Norelco Advantage. It's guaranteed or your money back. Norelco, put it to the test.
Look, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Ellie's renting again. And Enterprise picked her up again. She said Enterprise picks her up free. Free? Free. Now that makes renting easy.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
To the right side, down the line. Slicing foul. Tino Martinez. What a catch. 1 out. Wow, what a play by Tino Martinez.
From legendary catches to legendary coaches. It's never easy replacing a legend. Just ask Frank Solich. It's been his lot in life replacing Tom Osborne as the Nebraska head coach. Solich's winning ways have certainly helped to ease the transition. On tonight's open mic, Solich discusses what it's like as the man after Osborne.
Ford presents Open Mic.
I guess I understood to a degree how much commitment was there in terms of Tom and running this program and wearing all the hats that he did, and certainly that's been a challenge. But I've enjoyed it and look forward to continuing to do my best to keep the Nebraska program where it's at. I think Eric has a great chance of winning the Heisman. If you look at what he's accomplished for our football team, not only running the football but also throwing the football. Certainly he's been the catalyst for our team and what we've been able to accomplish not only this year but also last year. He's got great statistics. He's been a very durable, very tough, competitive player. I wouldn't trade him, and I think he's the best in the country. In some ways, it probably will make sense financially in terms of going to a playoff system. But when that may come about, how it may come about, I'm not real sure. I guess we live with the system that we have right now until a playoff system, if it comes into play, it comes into play. If you look at where we're at right now with 3 teams ranked in the top 10 in the country, gives you a little bit of an indication of how strong this conference is. But it's not just those teams, it's the other teams that really has built this conference to being one of the strongest in the country. As I've gotten to the college level, certainly having had a chance to play under Bob Devaney and had a chance to coach under Tom Osborne. Those are two great coaches that you certainly want to take everything you can from those two coaches and learn from them and try to apply them in the best way possible so that it fits within your own personality.
Open Mic is brought to you by Ford, the latest innovations, the greatest tradition.
Can't get a ticket to the World Series? We'll put you in the stands on our final cut with a fan's eye view of our Subway Series. That's coming up.
But before that, we have this partial score on our Your Call question. Of the four men who managed both the Yankees and the Mets, who did the best job? Joe Torre is the people's choice so far. Come on, you Dallas Green fans, give the man his props. Log on. We'll be back real soon.
Imagine living life on a grander scale. Imagine tasting water when it's brand new, or being one with nature without going it alone. You can in Ford Excursion. Discover the ultimate in capability from Ford Outfitters, outfitting you with the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth. Ford Outfitters, no boundaries.
In the world we were born into, being smart doesn't necessarily make you a financial success. Neither does being pretty, neither does being talented. There are brilliant failures and there are successful zeros. Having money isn't a matter of good or bad. Having money is a matter of putting your money in a better place. Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. Move your money. Get well connected.
Have you noticed? There's a colorful new breed out there. It's a fast breed, a smarter breed of inkjet printer. But don't worry, they're easy to spot. And at $149, just as easy to catch. Xerox, just a smarter breed of inkjet printer, now available everywhere.
Did you know that you can get Hertz without the planes? So the things you're used to getting from Hertz at the airport, you can get right in your neighborhood. Like the same great cars, the contract rate you're used to, frequent traveler miles and points, and we'll even come and get you.
Now that's service.
If this all sounds exactly like Hertz's next door, that's because it is.
Reach the destinations most important to you. With over 50% more legroom, with more personal space in our new world business class.
We've got email from the masses. Maureen from Hartford says, the Kings of New York and the champions of the world. The Yankees are simply the greatest. Maureen, confident lady.
This Fox Scope segment is brought to you by Acura.
Time now to welcome in NBA analyst Jack Haley as he continues to get us ready for opening night of the NBA. And you try to answer the question, can anybody stop Vince Carter and the Raptors in this Central Division?
Well, you just saw the video. Can anybody stop Vince Carter one-on-one? Absolutely not. Now that Michael's gone, he could be the best one-on-one player out there. However, can you stop Toronto as a team? Yes. We're going to preview right now the Central Division. What do you have? The Indiana Pacers, once the powerhouse, may no longer be the team to beat in the Central.
The
least of Isaiah Thomas's worries is taking over for fellow Hall of Famer Larry Bird. Finding 3 starters to go with Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose will be most pressing. The Pacers are in a youth movement. How young? Indiana is relying on forwards Jonathan Bender, Al Harrington, and newly acquired Jermaine O'Neal, a trio that came to the NBA directly from high school over the past few years. With the sign and trade of Eddie Jones, Charlotte was forced to retool. Getting P.J. Brown and Jamal Mashburn in return, the Hornets were able to add depth and experience to give them the versatility to pound you or quick you. There were a lot of emotional ebbs and flows in Charlotte last year, and this season almost has to be better. The team that kept itself together the most was Milwaukee, which could be good and bad. They kept the promising forward Tim Thomas, but still have Irvin Johnson as their center. But the nucleus of the Bucks' success will be the trio of Sam Cassell, Glenn Robinson, and Olympian Ray Allen, all capable of dropping 25 in the same game on any given night. Up north, Vince Carter may have lost his running mate cousin, Tracy McGrady, but the Raptors were able to add better balance. Corliss Williamson was traded for to do the little things, and Mark Jackson was signed to run the point, control the offense, and get the ball to Air Canada. No team resembled Wall Street more than the Cavs this offseason. Cleveland traded away 4 players, most notably Shawn Kemp, to resupply with 6 NBA veterans. In fact, the Cavs even swapped first-round draftees, which landed them Chris Mim in the middle. But the most important person for Cleveland will be someone returning. Center Zydrunas Ilgauskas will be coming back from chronic foot problems that forced him to miss all of last season. With Grant Hill gone, the good news for Detroit is Jerry Stackhouse is still there. The bad news is the returning All-Star is not just the only Piston to average more than 20 points a game last season. He's the only one who averaged double figures.
He smoked it.
Okay, the only significant change the Hawks made was head coach Lon Kruger, but more moves could be made. Dikembe Mutombo, who will miss the start of the season with a case of malaria, is in the last year of his contract. As the only true center in the Eastern Conference, trading Mutombo could replenish the depleted talent pool in Hotlanta. The team that was supposed to make the biggest moves in the offseason was Chicago. Sure, they grabbed 6'8" point guard Jamal Crawford and wide-body Marcus Fizer on draft day to go with co-rookie of the year Elton Brand, but the Bulls wanted to rebuild with free agents. They maneuvered cap space to go after Tim Duncan, Grant Hill, or even Tracy McGrady, but Chicago could only manage to corral Ron Mercer and Brad Miller.
So to summarize, the bottom half of the division is in a total rebuilding year. In the top of the half of the division with Toronto, Milwaukee, Charlotte, all chasing Indiana to who's going to be number 1. I think it'll be the Bucks.
Well, let's talk the Pacers, Jack. Obviously, Larry Bird gone, Isaiah Thomas in. Your thoughts?
Well, Isaiah Thomas so far has come in with quite a strut. He's thinking championship, not just the division championship, the whole thing. Problem is they have great veteran perimeter players, Jalen Rose, Reggie Miller, but inside they're unproven. They have Jermaine O'Neal, Al Harrington, Jonathan Bender, and, of course, Sam Perkins. They're going to have to find an inside game to go with the outside game to be able to win, again, the division championship.
We'll see how long that transition takes. Zeke, now known as Coach Isaiah.
Coach Isaiah doing a good job, I hear.
All right, let's talk baseball. Mike Piazza came up with the clutch hit when his team needed it most, and it still wasn't enough. They lose. The Yanks 1 win away from their title.
This Fox Scope segment was brought to you by Acura.
Great evening to you. I'm Todd Donahoe, and coming up in a few minutes on your 11 p.m. Southern California Regional Sports Report, as always, we've got the Lakers covered for you. A full report coming up at 11 as they get ready to wrap up the preseason. Plus, we'll have a special report on John Robinson as he rebuilds the UNLV program. So, for 30 minutes of nightly sports news, all dedicated to Southern California home teams, stay tuned for your 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report.